Sanatana Goswami when he's asking Mahaprabhu in Varanasi, who am I? Kiyami, who am I? He's saying, everyone is calling me a great Pandit, a great scholar, but actually I don't consider that the truth. I want to know what is my spiritual identity. Mahaprabhu is responding this, Jiva Swarup hoy, Krishnera Nityadas. You are an eternal servant of Krishna. And then Krishna Buli say Jiva Anadi Bahir Mukh. Ataiva Maya Tare Deya Samsara Duk. This is again from the same chapter, Madhya Lila 20, Chaitanya Charitamrita. The Jiva who has forgotten Krishna has been preoccupied with the external potency since time without beginning. He couldn't find the internal spiritual strength. A vastu can't be broken down. A vastu is like an element. An element can't be broken down further than its elemental makeup. So a vastu also can't be broken down. You understand? Nature arises from the elementary structure of an object, ghatana. The elementary structure of an object, like nature, like you take a ball, for example. It has a dharma. The dharma of a ball is to roll. So its structure is round. Try to understand what it's saying deeply. There are many examples, but I should read on a bit more. By Krishna's desire, when an object is formed, a particular nature is inherent in that structure as an eternal concomitant factor. Just like the ball, for example. Its inherent nature to roll is built into its structure. This nature is the nitya dharma of the object. It's the eternal nature of that object. The nature of a given object becomes altered or distorted when a change takes place within it, either by force of circumstances or due to contact with other objects. This is the reason why there are so many contradictions on the meaning of dharma, because people have distorted their impression of what dharma means. They haven't understood the essential nature of dharma, therefore they've interpreted according to their own taste. It's like religions, for example, all over the planet. You know, they have different rituals and so on, according to the country traditional customs that are there. And they develop those ideas of religiosity according to their environment. They're not adhering to the one dharma. The principal dharma is to love God. That's the principal dharma that we're talking about. But it becomes distorted to understand who is God or what is God. They misinterpret it because they're not understanding, they're not educated sufficiently. The nature of a given object becomes altered or distorted when a change takes place within it, either by force of circumstances or due to contact with other objects. With the passage of time, the distorted nature becomes fixed and appears to be permanent, like our consideration, I am this body. This is a distorted impression of my real identity. I am a spirit soul more than I am this body. My spirit soul is residing within this body. But because of this distortion, I've started to think that I am the body by association with the body. This will be explained. This distorted nature is not the SVABHAVA. Swa means own. Bhav means nature. SVABHAVA, my own nature. This distorted understanding is not my own nature. It's been influenced by something external. In this case, the glitter of the material attraction has crafted this enjoying body. This distorted nature is not the SVABHAVA, true nature. It is called NISARGA. Sannyasi Thakur is saying, what is that? Oh, what is it that is called VASTU? And what is the meaning of SVABHAVA? So he's already explained it, but we need to hear it again. Paramahamsa Babaji said, The word vastu is derived from the Sanskrit verbal root vas, which means to exist. So we're discussing, remember the question all the time that Sannyasi Thakur asked. If there's one dharma, why do so many people describe it in different ways? We're trying to understand the nature of dharma. We're trying to understand this, and Premdas Babaji is explaining it by defining the nature of dharma. There are two types of vastu, VASTAVA and AVASTAVA. The term truly abiding substance, VASTAVA, VASTU, refers to that which is grounded in transcendence. If it's a truly abiding substance, then it has eternal existence. Ultimately, it's going to be mentioned there are only three Vastus: Bhagavan, the Jiva, and the material energy, or Maya. Only three in existence. There's no others except these three. And everything else is revolving around these three essential Vastus. And the relationship between these three Vastus is called Sambandha Gyan. So this chapter is about Sambandha Gyan in relationship to these three principles. So we have Vastava, Vastu, and Avastava. When we put an A in front of it, like we say Agyan, which is ignorance, we say Avaishnava, which is not a Vaishnava. There's different words we use with the A in the front. It means it's not that. So Avastava. And Dravya, solid objects, and Guna, qualities. These are temporary. Qualities and solid objects are only material. They're not eternal. Three Vastus: Bhagavan, Jiva, and Maya. These are the three eternally abiding substances. He's describing what is Dharma. If Dharma is not based on this, then it's going to be based on some material influence. It's going to have a little bit of a twist on it. In other words, you get different religions, and some of the religion will have some value if it's come something from the Vedic teachings, but then the rest of it has all been imported, so to speak, according to the culture and traditions of the land where that religion has manifested from. But it won't be pure Dharma. It'll be Mishra. It'll be mixed. Therefore, the word Vastu refers to three fundamental principles: Bhagavan, the Jiva, and Maya. So understand that, and understand it in relationship to what is the meaning of Sambandha Gyan. It means the relationship between these three. What is my Jiva relationship with Krishna, ontologically, spiritually, and what is my relationship with Maya? Maya has the propensity to control me. Krishna controls Maya. My relationship with Krishna is... If we understand this principle of eternal truths, our life becomes very strong. It's very much, we're building a platform of truth, of essential realities. And it's not what we had always thought it was previously. We have to be educated to come to accept this reality. That means we have to let go of what we previously considered was the absolute truth. This is what education means. When you accept a new focus, a new standard, a new truth, that means you let go of that previous impression, and you come to the truthful impression. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is talking to us. We have to understand this topic very clearly. We want to, because it's very deep, and if we catch it, it'll make a world of difference in everything that we perceive in this world. It'll make this distinction between matter and spirit. I was saying this yesterday. It's the first teaching in Bhagavad Gita. What is the distinction between matter and spirit? Once that's understood categorically, then you're not going to be confused for anything. If there's various deaths or suffering or disasters, etc., you can see it in the context of what is eternal and what is temporary. It doesn't mean you become callous and hard to various catastrophes that happen in life and you just reside in some Gyan type consciousness. The heart is also functioning with a sense of compassion, but at the same time, we don't go to pieces about it. If suddenly mother and father die, suddenly children die, yes, this is a tragedy. Don't try to say, oh, this is just their karma or something like that. How is that going to be comforting? We see it many, many times. Even Hiranyakashipu was preaching to his family members. I think it's the 2nd chapter of the 7th canto. He's preaching to his family members about the death of Hiranyaksha. They're all weeping, etc. So even he is understanding the philosophical aspect. But at the same time, there is the material consideration. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he talks about this in the 5th chapter, 6th chapter, I think, about being balanced. This is a holistic process. Everything has to be incorporated.
We are Chit Vastu and not this. And how do we implement that in our daily life? So we keep getting thoughts about which is not related to Krishna. So how do we deal with that?
It's a process. It's a process. It's a process. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said the first point of bhajan, now think about this, is patience. We have to have patience with ourselves. We have to have patience with the length of time it's going to take to purify our dirty conditioned consciousnesses from billions of years in different bodies, etc. They have to be purified. That takes time. These distracting thoughts that come in for our own sense gratification, exploitation of the world, they will come in. But what sort of determination am I having to leave those aside?
So like a sadhak, how does he deal with that? Like sometimes it's frustrating.
He takes shelter of his guru. I can remember once having a most amazing dream about my Gurudev, and I was standing with my Gurudev. And the whole time I was standing with him, I was aware that negative thoughts were coming into my mind at the same time as I was standing with him. And those negative thoughts took the form of like black crows with very sharp razor hoods on their heads. And they were like attacking me, attacking my consciousness while I was standing with my Gurudev. And my Gurudev was pushing them all back as they were coming. He was deflecting them all. And I was feeling wonderful because none of these black thoughts were actually allowed to enter by the mercy of my Guru. So the answer to your question, Gokul, is the mercy of Guru is going to be very instrumental in this, keeping these dark negative thoughts aside. But as we progress, Guru is not constantly going to be there, deflect. We have to grow up and we have to deflect those thoughts ourselves. That means we have to make a decision that we don't want to enjoy those thoughts because we have those thoughts because we get some taste from them. That's why we have the thoughts. It comes to us, it's attracting to us because we want those thoughts. So when I decide, no, I don't want to go that journey anymore, that genuinely at the very core of my heart isn't even a smell, not even a scent of desire for my own pleasure in this world. It's like if you see a bird fly in the sky and it goes out of your vision, let it go. Let it come in and let it go.
Okay.
Let it come in and let it go. Don't grab it, play with it, taste it, relish it. Otherwise we're doomed. Let it go. When the soul realizes his transcendental identity, automatically at that time, his seva, etc., all the Ekadash Bhavs are naturally going to be revealed to him very clearly. There doesn't have to be any separate endeavor, questioning or anything like that. Prabhu, for a long time I have heard of the preeminence of Dharma. On numerous occasions I have asked the question, what is Dharma? To so many people, it is a cause of distress to me that the answers those people have given contradict each other. So please tell me, what is the true constitutional Dharma of the Jiva? And why do different teachers explain the nature of Dharma in such diverse ways? If Dharma is one, why don't all learned teachers cultivate that one universal Dharma which is without a second? So how many religions are there on the planet? How many individuals propounding their way is the best? You know, they fight about it. They kill each other for it, for their imagined understanding of what is Dharma. But there is SANATAN Dharma, which is eternal. So this is what this is going to unpack and unfold. I hope you've all understood the question very, very clearly. What is Dharma? And why are there so many different opinions concerning Dharma? If Dharma is one, why does everyone argue about the nature of Dharma? So think about the question, please. This word we should know like we know the back of our hand, like we know the word prasadam. Nisarga is a beautiful word because it means the distorted conception of my identity. Nisarga, through association with matter, it's become distorted. You'll give an example. That nature which is acquired through long-term association. We've been in these material bodies for unlimited billions of births. So we've got this impression that I am material. It's a big enterprise to actually purify this material condition. We have to work diligently at it. This Nisarga occupies the place of the factual nature and becomes identified as the SVABHAVA. Try to understand every sentence separately, and then you'll catch it. Now I really want to read this next part, this next example. For example, water is an object, and its SVABHAVA is liquidity, right? Yes. It's liquidity. When water solidifies due to certain circumstances and becomes ice, the acquired nature of solidity takes the place of its inherent nature, which is liquid. If we understand that water has consciousness, there's been many experiments to prove that water has consciousness. If you speak to water and you have scientific instruments, you can bring out the impression that your language to water will reflect back. One Japanese scientist, he's proved this. If you say war, then a certain kind of mandala will reveal it. If you say love, another whole warm mandala will be revealed. So water does most assuredly have consciousness. So if you ask this block of ice, what is your nature? He will tap it very, very hard. Oh, I am hard. I am hard. Because of this acquired nature to ice. For perhaps billions of years, it's been an iceberg. So it's thinking, I am ice. But if a warm current comes, again, it'll go back to its liquid form. It's real Dharma. So it's become distorted. And this distortion is called Nisarga. Try to remember this word. And becomes ice. The acquired nature of solidity takes place and its inherent nature. In reality, this acquired nature is not eternal. Rather, it is occasional or temporary. We're going to call it nimitic. It arises because of some cause. And when that cause is no longer effective, this acquired nature vanishes automatically. When it's not cold for the iceberg and it's warm, the SVABHAVA will naturally reassert itself and it'll come again to be liquid. This is the most sublime example that we can share with so many people. It arises because of some cause, and when that cause is no longer effective, this acquired nature vanishes automatically. However, the SVABHAVA is eternal. Yes, the nature is eternal. It's still there. It doesn't go away. It may become distorted, but it still remains inseparably connected to its object, and the original nature will certainly become evident again when the proper time and circumstances arise. In other words, our spirit soul will respond to spirit environment. This is why, for example, It's so beneficial to reside in the holy dhams, even for a day or two or a week or three. And if we can organize our situations so we can reside here longer, because the effect of the environment, the spiritual environment, the impact on the consciousness will reveal and wake up our inherent SVABHAVA, which is only Jivara Surupoi Krishnaranitas. The SVABHAVA of an object is its Nitya Dharma, eternal function. SVABHAVA and Nitya Dharma, remember these terms. While its acquired nature is its Naimitic Dharma, occasional function. Those who have true knowledge of objects, VASTU Gyan, we talked about VASTU before, can know the difference between eternal and occasional function, whereas those who lack this knowledge consider acquired nature to be true nature, and they consequently mistake the temporary dharma for eternal dharma. I find that completely conclusive. If you read it carefully, I think it will also find it completely, it's complete, this explanation. It doesn't really need any other embellishment. It's full. I'll read that last sentence again. Therefore, the eternal swabhava or dharma of the jiva is Krishna Das, eternal service and obedience to Krishna. That little paragraph we've just read is so phenomenal. I mean, every single sentence is like a power pack. You can read it again and again to get confirmed of our position in relationship to the supreme position. Because this is always our difficulty. Even when you start to chant a few nice rounds, you'll get some pride straight away. Oh, I'm chanting so nicely. We'll start to understand a little bit of, oh, I can understand Jaiva Dharma. Oh, I can, it's always this I becomes prominent. This pride must be purified. And Guru and Vaishnavas can really help. That's why we need this association. We need association in our lives. Otherwise, this pride will take us, and we won't even know it's taken over us. It'll lead us into all dangerous kind of situations. Just like the sparks from a fire are the same as the fire in essence, but they're infinitesimally smaller. We are atomic particles of the spiritual potency. Krishna is the supreme origin. That Anuchit, he's the supreme. Vibhuchit. We are Anuchit. We are atomic particles. Krishna is Vibhu. He is the complete whole. So just like the sparks from a fire, a spark can ignite a whole blaze that could even incinerate the whole world if it touched the dry grass, etc. It has the same potency, but it's infinitesimally smaller. Like as another example of taking a spoonful of water from the ocean. The spoonful of water is exactly the same constitution as the ocean, but it's the difference is in its quantity. It's very, very infinitesimal, small. Therefore, the eternal distinction between Bhagavan and the Jiva must be accepted. Bhagavan is the supreme ruler of Maya, his external potency which creates bewilderment, which is under his full control. The Jiva, on the other hand, may under certain circumstances be controlled by Maya, for he is subject to its influence. Hence, these three principles, Bhagavan, the Jiva, and Maya, are real, paramartik, satya, and eternal. So only these three principles are vastus, Bhagavan, the Jiva, and Maya. These are the three vastus. Of these three, Bhagavan is the supreme eternal principle, is the foundation of the other principles. The following statement of Sri Katha Upanishad 2.2.13 confirms this. Nityo Nityanam Chaitanas Chaitananam. He is the supreme eternal amongst all eternals, and the fundamental sentient being amongst all sentient beings. How wonderful to know that conclusively, that he is the supreme eternal. Whatever sort of Maya I get into, he's still going to be the supreme eternal. And I must keep remembering him to save me from this attraction to the illusory energy. The Jiva is by nature both an eternal servant of Krishna and a representation of his marginal potency. This demonstrates that the Jiva is distinct from Bhagavan, yet at the same time is not separate from him. He is therefore a manifestation that is both different and non-different, a Beda Prakash. The Jiva is subject to domination by Maya, whereas Bhagavan is the controller of Maya. Herein lies the eternal distinction between the Jiva and Bhagavan. On the other hand, the Jiva is by his constitutional nature a transcendental entity, Chid Vastu, and Bhagavan is also by nature Chid Vastu. Moreover, the Jiva is a special potency of Bhagavan. Herein lies the eternal non-distinction between these two. Where eternal distinction and non-distinction are found at one and the same time, eternal distinction takes prominence. Very obvious. We gave the example yesterday. We're talking about a spoonful of water from the ocean. The distinction between the quantity of a spoonful of water and the vast ocean is just enormous. But the quality of the water in this teaspoon is the same as the quality in the ocean. This is the condition of the Jiva. Now, just for a moment, we can turn ahead to page 346. And you see down the bottom of 346, this is opening out and explaining more the
Similarity.
non-difference between Krishna and the Jiva. First, the similarity, yes. So the question that Brajana is asking, what is the difference between Ishvara and the Jiva? Babaji, first you should understand the non-difference between Ishvara and the Jiva. And after that, I'll explain their eternal difference. Ishvara is the embodiment of knowledge, Gyan Swarup, the knower, Nata Swarup, one who considers or reflects, Manta Swarup, and the enjoyer, Bhaktri Swarup. He is self-effulgent, Swaprakash, and he also illuminates others, Paraprakash. He has his own desires, Ichamai, and he is the knower of all, Ketra Gyan. The Jiva too is the form of knowledge, the knower, and the enjoyer. He too is self-effulgent, and he illuminates others. For example, if you're feeling very happy and joyful, you can make others feel happy and joyful and illuminated. You have your own aura, effulgence. Krishna has his aura and effulgence. You have the propensity to enjoy. Krishna has the propensity to enjoy. We can reflect and consider Manta, and Krishna also reflects. We know something of our own individual bodies. Krishna, but the distinction is that Krishna knows all bodies. This is the distinction. So there's 9 of them actually altogether, and they're very, very helpful to commit to memory, to actually know this. Gyan Sarup, Nata Sarup, Bhakti Sarup, Mantra Sarup, Paraprakash, Swaprakash, Ketra Gyan, Ichamai, and Shuddha Deha, a pure spiritual body. We have a pure spiritual body. Krishna has a pure spiritual body. That's the one that's missing from here. But we both have spiritual bodies. These are the similarities. So Babaji is expert. He's explaining the similarities first. The Jiva too is the form of knowledge, the knower, the enjoyer. He too is self-effulgent and he illuminates others. And he too has desires and is the knower of his own field. From this perception, there is no difference between them. However, Ishvara is omnipotent, and by dint of his omnipotency, he is the basis of all these qualities, which are present in him in full. These qualities are also present in the atomic Jiva, but only in a minute degree. Thus, the nature and form of Ishvara and the Jiva are eternally different from each other, because one is complete and the other is minute. And at the same time, there is a lack of distinction between Ishvara and Jiva, because the similarity between their qualities. So this is a place where you can mark in your personal indexes, whatever. But they are undoubtedly different as well. That's essential to appreciate. Achintya, Veda, Abhed, Tattva. One and simultaneously different. The Advaita school says there's no difference, ultimately. Therefore, they are Mayavads. The Brahmavad view is to understand a supreme Ishvara, but that supreme Ishvara has also manifested from the Brahman. So that Brahman is greater than Ishvara. This is like the Devas. They believe that Vishnu has manifested from that Brahman. These are subtleties that are helpful to appreciate the whole. The action of the marginal potency is to create an entity, VASTU, which exists between the animate objects, Chidvastu, and inanimate objects, Achidvastu. This is the purpose of Tatashta. It has actually the ability to go between two, the spirit and matter. This had to be manifested for the material world to have existence. There can be no existence if there's no connection between the spirit and matter. So it's this Tatashta Shakti that creates the connection between the spirit and matter. We are living that. We are that marginal energy. We went over this topic, but I'll go it again because it's so important to appreciate. Where are we in the world of energies? Who are we? We are Antaranga Shakti, but we're also influenced towards Bahiranga. We're marginal. We're in this Tatashta. There's the internal energy and the external energy. And Krishna wanted an entity that could relate to both of those energies. So the Jiva was manifested from the Tatashta region. So I said yesterday that Tatashta is not a geographical location. It's a state of consciousness, marginal. And we're in that state of consciousness constantly. I said also yesterday how it's not a historic decision that we made to come into this world, but it's a ever-present decision that we're experiencing daily. We want to do this, which is towards Krishna, and then again, we're oppressed by the delusion of this world, and we get influenced by Maya, and we neglect that service to Krishna again and again. So we're oscillating. So this is causing great disturbance to the consciousness to remain steady in his progress forward. But gradually, with the purity of the heart and the chanting and the mercy of Guru and the mercy of all these personalities that, like we've been describing, we are hungry for mercy, that kripa, to take us forward. Yes. So the boundary region between land and the water of a river is known as a tata, or shore. This tata may be considered to be both land and water. In other words, it is situated in both. We see on the beach, on the shoreline, where is the edge of the beach? It's changing every second, it's moving, it's fluctuating. Sometimes it's covered, sometimes it's not covered, so it's not defined, it's not definitive. So this Tatashta is like that. We are fluctuating between the two states of consciousness. The divine Isa Shakti, which is situated in the border region, upholds the properties of both land and water, as it were, in one existential entity. So we are that existential entity. We are that existential entity that is able to have these two energies manifesting simultaneously. But our path is very clear. We are seeing the deformity of Maya, and we're seeing the beauty of Krishna consciousness, and we're working towards that path. The Jiva's nature is spiritual, but still his composition is such that he can become controlled by Jaiva Dharma, the inert nature. Yes, so essentially we are spirit. We should always remember that in every single instance. So the overpowering potency of the illusory energy completely took away the Jiva's power to discriminate. and he just falls under this sway. Why? Because the jiva wants to enjoy matter. That's the specific reason why the jiva actually comes into this world. He does get a choice in the Tatashta region. He gets a choice to either go back and serve the Lord in his divine spiritual form, or to become like the Lord and like the enjoyer, like the bhakta, the bhaktari, the enjoyer. We are not the enjoyers, we are the enjoyed. So it's not really an easy situation to be in, to be a jiva in the conditioned world, because like we're stuck between these two abilities to associate with spirit, and because I am spirit, and the fact that I've forgotten that nature, and to be attracted towards the material nature. It bangs us around from side to side. We have to be very careful and very serious and very determined to leave that illusory world of pleasure behind and seek the pleasure of Krishna carefully. The illusion is so thick that we act, because Krishna has arranged it this way, that we actually think, yes, I'm getting some pleasure, this jad anand, this dull material pleasure, and we keep trying for that. It's like the analogy is given in the 7th canto of the Jiva being chased by the tiger, and he falls into a dark well, and he catches hold of the 2 branches, and below him he sees all venomous poisonous snakes in the dry well, and above him he sees the face of the tiger, and he's holding on to these 2 branches. One is the black branch and one is a white branch, and there's 2 rats. They start to eat at these branches. This is the analogy of day and night. But when he fell in and caught these branches, a little bit of honey started dripping from a hive that was in that tree, and it came right past his tongue, and he sticks his tongue out and tastes the honey, and for a fraction of a moment he thinks, now I'm happy. But look at his dilemma. There's a tiger above, his time is being eaten by these rats, he's got danger below. Where is there any cause for happiness? It's danger. But he's thinking momentarily, this is Maya. This is the nature of the hand divorces itself from the body, and for some moments it thinks it's getting some pleasure with that independence from the whole. But how quickly is that terminated by the conflicting misery? Because he knows there's no happiness in this material world. Why should we be attached to this material world? If I understand I'm spirit, then we want that spiritual bliss which is in service to the Supreme Spirit. And the spirit realized soul realizes that he cannot enjoy matter. Matter can't provide a happiness for the soul, because it's matter, because it's temporary. The Nitya Dharma of the Jiva is servitorship to Krishna. This is the big distinction. When he forgets this, he is subjugated to the tyranny of Maya, and from that very moment he becomes diverted from Krishna. The fall of the Jiva does not take place within the context of material time. This is what I was saying before. It's not a historic fall that we had. It's a continuous. Non-material time has no material past, present, and future. We are in material time, so we're trying to put a point. When did I make that? But actually it was made in the eternal realm. And then, but we are continually making that decision to turn away from Krishna.
We were eternally Baddha.
Yes, we're eternally Baddha until we're not eternally Baddha. This is a wonderful appreciation. We are Baddha Jiva, but there will become a time when we lose that conditioning and we embrace Krishna fully, and then we are no longer eternally bound. So in a sense, it seems like eternal because it's from time immemorial that we have been bound. And while we are bound, it seems eternal. But there is an end to the bondage, without a doubt, when we connect in love, service to Krishna.
So once when Baddha Jivi becomes eternally liberated.
Of course.
So he becomes Nitya Siddha?
Yes. Yes. Eternally liberated. Like we have the sadhana siddha gopis. We have those nitya siddha gopis, and then we have the sadhana siddha gopis also. That you can be bound eternally, and then you're not bound eternally. So the word eternal isn't actually fully eternal, because there is a limitation on the eternal. If you get free, that's the point. That depends on our own responsibility. It's not a magic thing going to happen. Of course, many magical things will happen by the Lord's mercy. But in principle, the Jiva has to take responsibility for that decision, to fully die to live, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Maharaj said. Just drop the whole material conception completely. Die to live. It is meaningless. That place of refuge we keep taking, that security of my mind, my body, my family, my country, my home, everything. This is all ephemeral. It's all nimitic. Sannyasi Thakur was asking about Dharma. So now, what is the true Dharma of the Jiva? So, the true Dharma of the Jiva is that transcendental substance in relationship to the Supreme, the Brihat Chid Vastu.